Take 10,000. I don't own the rights to this music, by the way. Okay, so today will be my first show, period. Paintings are tied in. Topics we'll be hitting are my opinion. Um, and we'll be hitting those topics as I'm painting. um, First things first, this painting, it will be a freestyle. This painting, this chair. This painting, it'll be a freestyle. From the dome, as you say, when you rapping, you know. Oh, let me see if I can hit one from the dome. If this music don't disturb me. 2020 my year, get, I'm here. Ready, cause you know I'm rare. Ain't no. But yeah, my paintings are freestyled. Yeah. So however I'm feeling, that's just what I'm gonna paint. So you like it, you don't. Hey, like, comment, subscribe, regular. And let's get to it. I've been following the whole ADOS movement. The whole, yeah. I listen to a lot of different, because I'm not really a TV person. Well, I'm not really a TV person. I watch stuff, because everything now comes on YouTube basically, so you don't even have to be a TV person. But I do watch some shows on TV. I watch some ratchet TV. To be honest with you, I do catch up on my Love and Hip Hops and stuff. But my favorite thing to do is unwind and listen to, you know, the people from our community that talk about the issues that affect our community. So with that being said, I see I have an opinion on, and I see, I've been watching a lot of the stuff that goes on, and a lot of time, you know, I don't, like, the lines get blurred, whether it's intentional as far as these movements go, like with the ADOS, Tariq and Meeche X whole thing, Boyce Watkins, Vicky Diller. It's like, is certain things clickbait after a while, or is it, you know, real rap, right? So how it's like, okay, how do we as people who are trying to get into and uplift and empower ourselves, and our families most of all, because I think that when you look at these movements in our community, um, the first thing you think about is your family, you know, and how it directly affects, even if it's a little selfish and you're not thinking about the masses. I mean, it goes out and it reflects the masses, but um, your thoughts. But I think the fact that you're thinking about your family, those thoughts kind of have something to do with the masses because you know um, your family being at peace and calm and being good, that reflects how they live their lives and go out every day and live about and react and interact with people, and also how you interact and react with people. So um, as selfish as that is, if our community, if everyone was secure economically, politically, and socially, you know, even if, you know, it started on an individual basis with individuals getting other individuals getting under other individuals, then, I don't think that that's that selfish. But what I don't understand with our community and these people who have these big platforms now and who are considering themselves public figures and are throwing events, I don't understand why it's okay, even with any project. I'm not going to single out anyone. Any project, year one is the project, year two is the project, year three is the project. Where's the results? What is the end game? No one is leaving these conferences spinning off and doing collective things to have results. Like, I can understand if you had something as a collective and we all got together and we were writing out letters and we sent it off, like someone had an issue, like a big issue in that community, and we were writing letters and sending them off, and all of your followers, people have 50,000, 300,000 followers, were just sending off these letters and things of that notion. But that's what's absolutely not happening. What's happening is they're just having this year, come out, come see me, we're gonna plan, da 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 da. Next year, come out, come see me, do this, buy that, do this, buy, pay, buy, 10, 15, 20, 50, VIP, pictures, little t-shirts, cups, you know, panties, bras, whatever, crystals, whatever they could possibly market to you as a means to sell you something with no end. Everything ends in a conversation, and it's like we haven't seen any action since the civil rights movement. And and no big change, no big thing that us as ADOS can brag about. And I do follow that movement. I do believe in it. I do believe in the things they say. I just would like to see more results and more footwork from the, especially in the criminal justice, if you know, in the criminal justice area, and I'll leave it at that. especially when these movements keep progressing, or the leaders of these movements keep, even if it's as far as followers, because these are monetized, they're being monetized at this point. So, even if it's as far as followers, if it's as far as just making money, if it's as far as exposure, the most addictive drug, like the fact that you may not be on any type of substance, but fame is very addictive. Like, I believe that wholeheartedly. And I think that it's not the money. I don't think it's the exposure. It's, you get used to people agreeing with you. It's like that God kind of complex, that God, like, you get like, that's like kind of I think people, especially in our community, we have that God thing where we want to feel as close to God and God-like as possible, because we know we have so much um, there. Like, we have just so many accomplishments and such a lineage that is so awesome and great that we chase it, and we want everybody to recognize our individual greatness, even if we, present it as if it's, for the masses, especially in this community, in this YouTube community, which, as I said, I'm just getting into. It's my first video. Like, share, subscribe. Thank you. Again, my name is Kalina. I paint and talk. Yeah, but the community, again, I think looks for the people and the leaders of these movements, especially when it's a good movement. And that's what scares me about this ADOS movement, is that it's a very good, like, I believe in reparations, I believe in everything that they're spewing, but it's like, and the data is just like impeccable, but it's like, okay, you have all of this data, but people been had the data. It's people that had the data before you had the data, you know. What are you going to do with this data now that you spread it to the masses? And I feel like criminal justice reform should be a priority. Like, that should be a top priority, because um, we are not exempt. People with money are not exempt. You have not made it a black person in America with money. That does not mean that you are exempt from being arrested or being railroaded or being, killed. They'll kill you. They can just, people kill you when they feel like it, you know. So we need to realize that and be reassured. We want to be reassured. Well, I would like to be reassured. Let me speak for myself. I would like to be reassured that this is not a scheme, and that we need to know that criminal justice reform is at the top of the list, because, as I was saying, you can be at the top of your game, as you know, and be arrested and be put in jail. So reparations can just be a means to us being in a fancy ass concentration camp. Like, they'll put us in a whole fancy concentration camp and call it a fucking day. You know what I'm saying? If it came down to, because it still does not mean that we have inclusiveness. It doesn't mean that we're going to be included because we have money. Oprah Winfrey, as big as she is, they didn't want her to buy a bag. So, and we don't control the military. So all of this rhetoric scares me because of these reasons, because it's like, we don't have control over the military. So we're getting money. The police can just come into these neighborhoods and now shake us down. Like, they'll always find a way or a loophole or something, especially when you want to remain. And that's the so-called divider, is money. And property, real estate and money. That's the divider, excuse me. between us and the people who are the ruling class is money and real estate, and and the you know muscle that they have behind them. So with that with that being said, we have to realize that we have to realize that we can fight for reparations all we want. What if we do get reparations and now we're still being controlled because all of these groups who have reparations, minus the Jews, the Japanese who have gotten reparations, the Indians who have gotten reparations, are still under total control. Um, they favor certain ethnic groups over others. So, like I would say, like with the Native Americans, um, who I don't really feel like are indigenous Native Americans, but the so-called Native Americans, um, a lot of them, it's like alcoholism is rampant, and amongst their people, they still are, regardless if they're claiming a false identity. You see how they treated the the white lady with the braids who was braiding hair in her kitchen, whoever, I forget her name, who was acting like she was black, um, because she was acting like she was black. Like, they not gonna respect you when you acting like an Indian, whether you a white guy in an Indian suit or Mexican in it, whatever you are in an Indian suit, they not gonna respect you because that's just how the ruling class go. Not no more, especially if you're, playing as something other than themselves, and especially if you're not them. Period. So with that being said, the ruling class, the ruling class will never in a million years give us reparations and equal leadership. That's what scares me. So it's like, what is the plan and what are you putting in place, like, to fight for this, to fight for equality, or separation, segregation comfortably, where we can segregate and have our Tulsa, Oklahoma again, like, what are you doing? What are we supposed to do? Because it can't be just a hashtag or a rhetoric spew or data given all the time, and nothing that is like hardcore, that when we go to these conferences, that if there aren't any groups now that we can go to, that they are actually doing the work, and I don't see the work being done online. Like, you can, instead of having, like, a lot of people are doing like different type of things as far as group things, but you can have a group of people writing letters in different parts of um different, like, you have different chapters. Everybody just writes out some letters, which is what I eventually want to do, is get different organizations, and when there's a big issue, we all get together, we write out letters, send them from all over, we tell the issue, we talk about it, we debate what we should do, we debate what we should write, and then we all send that shit out to the person that is supposed to go. Even if we're not from that town, that county, we still get together and we send those letters out, and we get changes done, and we get people to represent us. But I would like to see more of that from these other movements, because, like I said, this is my first show, so, and you have to build traction and have a following for all of that. Link, link, hint, hint. Um, I seen the I do watch Tariq. He's very funny. I like Meeche. She's very, like, in your face. I respect that. I respect a female who is unapologetically herself, and, I think she's very feminine, but not classically feminine like how everybody would probably like her to be. But I like the fact that she is herself. So like I look at a lot of different people. Now, Boyce and Vicky, I look at them too. No, I don't look at them. I'm lying. Um, yeah, I don't look at them. Vicky, I can't take her. I don't know too much about what she talks about. And I just can't take her. And Boyce, his opinions are like kind of like I don't know. I like him Farrow. He's entertaining. Um, I've been also watching the Nature Boy craze. The Nature Boy craze. I've been also watching the Nature Boy craze. That's a mess. I don't even want to begin with that or end with that. That's just a hot mess in these streets. Who else? I watched a few episodes of Professor Griff last year. Um, I didn't realize he was the person who was actually married to Soleil. He took her from Virginia Fine. He was so anxious. That's what it seemed like in his videos too. He's so anxious, honey. um, but yeah, I would like to just see the ADOS movement, which I am um following very diligently. Like, um, I enjoy Tone's commentary. I enjoy Yvette's commentary. Um, I am pulled into the back and forth. And I would like this year not to only see conferences. I would like for them to um, use their connections and their professions to be more grassroots, as Meeche would say. Um, you have allies, um, you know, um, that you can partner up with. And I feel like you need to use those allies to make organizations as into where you can make more progress on the ground as opposed to just having such big conversations. So we're gonna take a little break so I can paint and we'll reconvene. Sip some sake. this gonna come together. I know it looks weird now, but it's definitely gonna come together, I promise you. Even if it's not in this video, the next one, by the next one, it'll be coming together. Okay, I got you. Alright. So back to these hots, tropics. Who else popped off in 19? Who else was good commentary in 19? That I listened to or I didn't listen to, or I might get to. Hussein, Camel, honey. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Even with the Sinetta and the polite thing, like you really see through that. Like that's a scam. That's a scam with a scam. That's a damn scam. And that's the classic thing that I don't want to also, like, don't go back and forth with each other. I'm talking about as far as Sinetta and polite versus ADOS, Tariq, Meeche, all of them. Like, don't, even with say like a Meeche and a Tommy, like they were going at it at one point and his views never changed, neither did yours, but now you guys are cool, and he is not like a conscious person. He has his whole Uncle Ruckus thing going on, but you Meeche, and I'm not coming at you personally, anything like that, or coming at her personally, anything like that, but what I'm saying is that, like, if you ever, I know I never watched any of her videos as far as Tommy Sotomayor, so let me tread lightly. But if you've ever complained about any of his rhetoric, which you seem like the type of person that would have a problem with his rhetoric, then for you to befriend him and his rhetoric is still the same, and then he still talks about the stuff that he talks about, and never apologize, and very unapologetic for the stuff that he says about Black women and the Black community, especially with being a lighter skinned Black woman, and wouldn't just be like, this nigga's probably a colorist, like I can't trust him. I think that it's just like kind of a yellow light that comes up, because again with the Tariq Nasheed and Tommy Sayo, not Tariq, the Sonnet and polite thing, that's how it looks to me, because 1 minute you guys were not speaking, you were not dealing with each other, and all of a sudden you guys are friends, and you're doing stuff to monetize Sonet's channel, and I know polite is getting the cut off for that. And no, matter of fact, Sonet's getting the cut off polite, because we know how that nigga do. So that just looked shady boots to me, OD shady. And it doesn't look now like it's about the community. It just looks like it's about the rhetoric and the clout and the clicks and views and the monetization, making money off the motherfucking channel. That's what it looked like, making money off, excuse my French, MFN channel. That's what it looks like, because they're trying to monetize off the channel. And if we never see any action behind it, I think that's what it kind of is. If you're just having a conversation, I don't care if you do it from here or if you do it from anywhere, a conversation is always going to be just what it is, a conversation. And I don't think I need to look in the dictionary and look up a conversation, but a conversation is not action. A conversation is just a conversation. And why are we always having conversations? I feel like after a while, these organizations, this show is real, should pass the torch and leave the conversations, them smaller little channels, and say, let's go to this channel. They have the conversation. We are now doing the work. And I'm tired of hearing that the work. What is the work? I'm sorry. research and data is work, but it's like it's levels to everything. So, you know, we have the people who um, do, like, say you're building something, and I feel like it's a lot of architects, like, but without the construction workers, the building will never get done. Like, we are tired of the architects. We need construction workers, or we need guidance. So maybe we can become construction workers. Like, I'm tired of the conversations. Like, and even as far as there'll be the architects, there'll be the people who implement the idea to give to the architect. There'll be everything but the people on the ground working hard. And you know if you're given just conversations in other places besides here, you're going somewhere else just to have a big conversation, that's fine. I have no problem with that. I want to hear the conversation too, but I just don't want it to be a conversation, because with these conversations, you can cause more damage to our community than you realize. Um, People stop to believe. People stop believing in stuff. People give up. People give up on their kids, their family, because and that's what I feel like, especially when you see and you hear, when you see and you hear stories, and you see documentaries and even different shows about our life, our ancestors' life. During slavery, a lot of people gave up because they felt like there was no hope. And when you play these games, that's what you're doing, and you're giving people no fucking hope. And you are supposed to be the people who are giving us hope. And what you're doing is doing the reverse with just giving conferences, because it's like you go home, you feel good. I just did something that fed my soul. You didn't feed the community. You didn't feed a family. You didn't politically uplift. You didn't give out a job. You just fed my soul. It's hard. So yeah, this painting, it usually takes me like, a little minute to do a painting. I'm not Mozart. Well, no, Mozart was a composer, excuse me. I'm not Picasso. Yeah, I'm not Picasso. So this takes me a while. Plus it's freestyle. And usually my paintings are like, well, all the time, anytime my paintings are an expression of how I'm feeling. Even if like I go on YouTube and do a tutorial, it's like something that I'm feeling at the moment. So this freestyle, it'll be from the but yeah, I think I'm gonna get out of here. Again, my whole point was just to express how I feel. Um, the just to say thank you to the ADOS movement because you guys are dope. I do think you guys are dope, but I just don't want to feel like it's like the old con game, you know, like you're trying to sell us um conferences. You know, every year the conference gonna go up. You know, the bigger you get, the more names you get, there's gonna be more money. And then the next thing you know, it's gonna be a $200,000 conference. You know, that's just what, you know, and I don't want it to be that. Um, I don't want it to be wherein we can't, or us as a community who don't have the clicks, the views, the clout, and the notoriety to feel helpless. I would like us to start feeling like it's not only going to be a conversation, but it's actually stuff that we can do today, not get, oh, you can organize. It's not like you just can't get an organization together. People have lives, kids, stuff like that. You know, stuff that you can actually, oh, well, listen, we have this whole letter written out. We all write the same letter. We send these letters out. We get this popping. Oh, we have this, there's going to be this judge at this place at this time. We're having this meet and listen, we need 30, 40 of our followers. Let's go. You know, we need 100 of our followers. Let's go. You know, donate so we could fly 100 of our followers out to this so we can get, because it don't take, especially when it's locally and you want to make local changes, it doesn't take thousands and thousands of votes as if, you know, it's on a big scale or presidential level. Locally, you need to just know the demographic of that area, how many people's in that area, and how many votes will it take to sway. And locally, especially in smaller communities and in these areas where people are very poor, it you know, you don't have to have the numbers. You can just really have, you don't have to have large numbers. You can just really, you know, have an organization and maybe you can go out there and give the handout, the information to people, like, and get the word out. We need this. We're going to do this. We're flying these people out. Follow this. Do that. I don't see that, you know. And I would just like to see more of that. And I would also like to see, as I said, criminal justice reform, because as soon as we can get it, it can be taken away and with no excuse and unapologetically. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's either the fact that our numbers will be so short that we will get them, and then they can just arrest us willy nilly because we're dying every day. All day we're being sexually trafficked, we're being taken off the streets, put in jail, locked up, women and men. So I've seen judges, like, you know, judges in our community and now getting locked up, and I don't know if they were even really connected to our community, you know, as a part of as their everyday life, but it's just like a target on our back. So I just feel like we as a people and ADOS, the leaders of that movement, they really need to put foot to mouth and not mouth to foot, like just like well, maybe mouth to foot. No, however the hell I just want to see more action. I don't want to hear about this conference coming up and you oversaturate us with conference, get your tickets. You know, like, we have enough conferences. Talk about something like, oh, we're donating, give us donations. We're gonna, you know, pay. It's a bunch of people in this area. We're gonna donate. Let's get all together. We're gonna donate to the guy who got the water system popping for you know, these areas that are suffering from not getting water, and now he's being sabotaged. I heard. So, you know, like, we need stuff like that. Again, I'm Gavina. Like, share, subscribe. My painting isn't anywhere done because I was burning my mouth. But thank you. I enjoyed this. A tighter.